About. Approximately. The meeting will start in about 5 minutes, approximately at 3 p.m. Abstract. Summary. The report included an abstract and a detailed summary. Accomplish. Achieve. They hope to accomplish and achieve their goals this year. Accumulate. Build up. She began to accumulate and build up a collection of rare coins. Administer. Manage. He was hired to administer and manage the new department. Admit. Confess. She had to admit and confess her mistakes to her boss. Almost. Nearly. He was almost finished, having nearly completed the task. Angry. Mad. She was angry or mad about the delay. Animated. Lively. The party was animated and filled with lively conversations. Annoy. Bother. His habit to annoy and bother everyone was well known. Answer. Reply. She waited for his answer and prompt reply. Anyway. Besides. It was a tough decision, but anyway or besides, it had to be made. Apparent. Obvious. The solution was apparent and quite obvious to everyone. Arise. Occur. Problems arise and occur unexpectedly. Aromatic. Fragrant. The garden was filled with aromatic and fragrant flowers. Arrive. Reach. We arrive and reach the destination by noon. Artful. Crafty. She used an artful and crafty approach to solve the difficult puzzle. Association. Organization. The association is a well-known organization in the industry. Attractive. Appealing. The new design is attractive and highly appealing. Away. Absent. He was away on vacation, so he was absent from the meeting. Awful. Terrible. The movie was awful and truly terrible. Backside. Bottom. He fell on his backside and hurt his bottom. Bad. Poor. The performance was bad and poor in some parts. Beat. Defeat. The team managed to beat and defeat their rivals. Beautiful. Pretty. The garden was beautiful or pretty. Becoming. Fitting. Her dress was very becoming and fitting for the occasion. Begin. Start. We should begin and start the meeting soon. Behave. Act. Please behave and act appropriately during the event. Belly. Stomach. He had a big belly and a round stomach. Bendy. Flexible. The material was bendy and very flexible. Beneficial. Favorable. The policy is beneficial and highly favorable for employees. Beneficent. Generous. Her beneficent nature made her extremely generous. Bid. Tender. They submitted a bid and a tender for the project. Big. Large. They live in a big or large house. Bizarre. Weird. The movie was bizarre and truly weird. Blameless. Innocent. He was found blameless and completely innocent. Bloodless. Cold. His reaction was bloodless and rather cold. Branch. Department. The new branch of the company is an important department. Brave. Courageous. The brave and courageous firefighter saved the child. Bring back. Reintroduce. They plan to bring back and reintroduce the old logo. Bring on. Cause. The heavy rain brought on and caused the flooding. Bring up. Raise. She worked hard to bring up and raise her children. Brow. Forehead. He wiped the sweat from his brow and forehead. Bum. Bottom. He fell on his bum and hurt his bottom. Busy. Engaged. The phone line is busy or engaged at the moment. Candy. Sweet. The child asked for a candy or sweet. Categorize. Classify. We need to categorize and classify the items properly. Cheesy. Tacky. The joke was cheesy and quite tacky. Choosy. Picky. She is very choosy and quite picky about her clothes. Chop. Cut. He had to chop and cut the vegetables quickly. Chorus. Refrain. The chorus of the song is also known as the refrain. Cite. Quote. He often cites and quotes famous authors in his speeches. Class. Lesson. The class is also a lesson in mathematics. Clever. Intelligent. She is very clever and intelligent, always quick to find solutions. Close. Shut. Please close the door and shut the windows. Coiffure. Hairstyle. Her coiffure was a stylish hairstyle. Cold. Chilly. The night was cold or chilly. Collapse. Break down. The building began to collapse and completely break down. Collect. Gather. We need to collect and gather all the documents. Comic. Comedian. The comic was a well-known comedian. Complete. Total. The project was complete and a total success. Completely. Totally. She was completely and totally exhausted. Concord. Harmony. The team worked in concord and perfect harmony. Condemn. Sentence. The judge will condemn and sentence the criminal. Confederate. Accomplice. The Confederate helped the main accomplice in the crime. Confine. Restrict. We need to confine and restrict the use of this area. Conflict. Clash. Their interests often conflict and clash with each other. Conform. Comply. Employees must conform and comply with company policies. Confuse. Mix up. The similar names can confuse and mix up people. Connect. Associate. Can you connect me with John? I need to associate with him. Considerate. Thoughtful. She is very considerate and always thoughtful of others. Constancy. Fidelity. Constancy and fidelity are key in a relationship. Constant. Fixed. He requires a constant and fixed schedule to stay on track. Constitution. Structure. The constitution of the organization defines its structure. Consult. Refer to. Please consult the manual and refer to the guidelines. Contemporary. Modern. The contemporary design gives the room a modern look. Continuous. Continual. The noise was continuous and almost continual throughout the night. Contrary. Opposite. His views are contrary and completely opposite to mine. Convention. Conference. The annual convention is an important conference for industry professionals. Convey. Communicate. He used diagrams to convey and communicate his ideas clearly. Cope. Manage. She had to cope and manage with the new workload. Correct. Right. The answer was correct and absolutely right. Couch. Sofa. She bought a new couch, which is actually a comfortable sofa. Crook. Criminal. The crook was a notorious criminal in the area. Crusade. Campaign. The environmental crusade turned into a massive campaign. Cube. Dice. He cut the cheese into small cubes or dice. Cussed. Stubborn. His cussed nature made him very stubborn in arguments. Dash. Sprint. He made a quick dash and a short sprint to the finish line. Daybreak. Dawn. Daybreak and dawn brought in new hope to the travelers. Deceptive. Misleading. The advertisement was deceptive and very misleading. Decontrol. Deregulate. They decided to decontrol and fully deregulate the market. Dedicated. Committed. She was a dedicated and highly committed worker. Deduce. Infer. From the clues, they could deduce and easily infer the solution. Defective. Faulty. The product was defective and found to be faulty. Deliberate. Planned. It was a deliberate and carefully planned action. Delicate. Fragile. The vase was delicate and extremely fragile. Demonstrate. Protest. They decided to demonstrate and protest against the new policy. Denationalize. Privatize. The government plans to denationalize and privatize the industry. Denims. Jeans. He wore his favorite pair of denims or jeans to the party. Deprave. Corrupt. The corrupt politician tried to deprave and corrupt the system. Deserted. Abandoned. The old house was completely deserted and abandoned. Destiny. Fate. She believed that her destiny or fate was to become a musician. Devil. Satan. People often refer to the devil as Satan. Dissy. Risky. Investing in that startup is quite dissy and very risky. Disappear. Vanish. The magician made the rabbit disappear and completely vanish. Disaster. Catastrophe. The earthquake was a disaster and a complete catastrophe. Disclaim. Deny. The suspect continued to disclaim and deny any involvement in the crime. Disclose. Reveal. She decided to disclose and reveal the secret to her friend. Disgrace. Shame. His actions brought disgrace and shame to his family. Domesticate. Cultivate. Farmers often domesticate and cultivate plants for better yield. Dull. Stupid. He found the lecture to be dull and thought the speaker was quite stupid. Eager. Keen. She was eager and very keen to start her new job. Earth. Soil. The earth and soil in the garden were perfect for planting. Easy. Simple. The instructions were easy or simple to follow. Economic. Profitable. The business venture turned out to be both economic and profitable. Egocentric. Selfish. His egocentric nature made him appear very selfish to others. Elevate. Raise. The promotion was meant to elevate and raise employee morale. End. Finish. They decided to end or finish the meeting early. Enemy. Foe. The hero faced his enemy or foe in the final battle. Enormous. Huge. The elephant was enormous and huge. Essential. Fundamental. Water is an essential and fundamental part of life. Establish. Set up. They decided to establish and set up a new community center. Evil. Wicked. The villain in the story was truly evil and wicked. Exactly. Precisely. She described the scene exactly and precisely as it happened. Except. Apart from. Everyone was there except or apart from John. Expire. Run out. The contract will expire and run out next month. Explode. Blow up. The bomb could explode and blow up at any moment. Extra. Additional. They brought in extra and additional chairs for the guests. Fabricate. Manufacture. They decided to fabricate and manufacture the parts locally. Famous. Famed. The author is famous and famed for her novels. Fantastic. Brilliant. The show was fantastic and brilliant. Far. Distant. The distant or far mountains were visible from the window. Fat. Overweight. The doctor advised him to lose weight because he was fat or overweight. Fear. Fright. She was filled with fear or fright. Float. Drift. The boat began to float and slowly drift down the river. Fool. Idiot. The prankster was a complete fool and acted like an idiot. Foolish. Silly. It was foolish and silly of him to make that decision. Forehead. Brow. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and brow. Foretell. Predict. The fortune teller claimed she could foretell and predict the future. Formerly. Previously. The restaurant was formerly a bakery, as it was previously known. Fortunate. Lucky. She was very fortunate and felt extremely lucky. Foxy. Cunning. The foxy fox outwitted the hunters with his cunning tricks. Foyer. Lobby. They met in the foyer and walked through the lobby together. Fragrance. Perfume. The fragrance of the flowers was like a light perfume. French dressing. Vinaigrette. She always used French dressing or vinaigrette on her salads. Friend. Companion. He is not just a friend but a true companion. Function. Operate. The new machine can function and operate under extreme conditions. Garbage. Rubbish. Please take out the garbage and put the rubbish in the bin. Garbage can. Trash can. The garbage can or trash can was overflowing. Gay. Homosexual. He came out as gay and openly homosexual. Glitter. Sparkle. The stars began to glitter and sparkle in the night sky. Grab. Seize. He managed to grab and seize the thief before he escaped. Grasping. Greedy. The grasping businessman was known for being greedy. Gravestone. Headstone. They visited the old gravestone and cleaned the headstone. Grouse. Grumble. He began to grouse and grumble about the workload. Gut. Intestine. The surgeon removed a part of the gut or intestine. Hall. Corridor. They walked down the hall or corridor to the meeting room. Handout. Distribute. The volunteers came to hand out and distribute the flyers. Handsome. Good-looking. He was known to be a handsome and good-looking actor. Happily. Fortunately. They lived happily and felt fortunately blessed. Happy. Joyful. She felt happy or joyful when she heard the good news. Hard. Difficult. The test was very hard or difficult. Hard. Tough. The exam was really hard and extremely tough. Hashish. Cannabis. They smoked hashish and referred to it as cannabis. Hawk. Peddle. Street vendors often hawk their goods and peddle them. Hearsay. Rumor. The story was based on hearsay and just a rumor. Highbrow. Intellectual. The lecture was a bit too highbrow and intellectual for me. Hint. Trace. The detective followed every hint and trace to solve the mysterious case. Hole. Gap. There was a small hole or gap in the fence. Home. Domestic. They preferred home or domestic vacations over international trips. Homicide. Murder. The detective investigated the homicide or murder case. Honest. Truthful. She is always honest or truthful in her dealings. Hot. Warm. The soup was hot or warm, perfect for the cold day. Housebreaking. Burglary. The increase in housebreaking and burglary incidents was alarming. Hunger. Starvation. The severe famine led to widespread hunger and starvation. Hurry. Rush. They had to hurry and rush to catch the train. Hypothesis. Speculation. The experiment supported the hypothesis and the initial speculation. Idler. Loafer. The idler was often seen as a loafer by his peers. If. Whether. I'm not sure if I'll go to the party. It depends on whether I finish my work on time. Illiberal. Intolerant. His views were quite illiberal and intolerant. Illuminate. Light up. The flashlight helped illuminate the path and light up the dark. Illustrate. Demonstrate. The teacher used a diagram to illustrate and demonstrate the concept. Imagine. Suppose. Imagine or suppose you won the lottery. Imitate. Mimic. The comedian could imitate and mimic almost anyone. Immediate. Instant. She needed an immediate or instant response to the emergency. Impact. Effect. The new policy will impact or affect all employees. Impartial. Neutral. The judge remained impartial or neutral throughout the trial. Impassive. Emotionless. He remained impassive or emotionless despite the shocking news. Impeach. Question. The committee decided to impeach or question the president's actions. Imperative. Vital. It is imperative or vital that we finish this project on time. Impolite. Rude. His impolite or rude remarks upset everyone at the table. In the meantime. Meanwhile. I'll start dinner. In the meantime or meanwhile, you can set the table. Incidentally. By the way. Incidentally or by the way, did you finish the report? Infantile. Childish. His infantile or childish behavior annoyed his colleagues. Inflexible. Rigid. The company's inflexible or rigid policies made it difficult for employees to adapt. Informal. Casual. The dress code for the event is informal or casual. Infrequent. Rare. Sightings of the rare bird are infrequent or rare. Inheritor. Heir. He is the inheritor or heir of his grandfather's estate. Innocent. Harmless. The puppy looked innocent or harmless. Inspect. Examine. The mechanic will inspect or examine the car for any issues. Instinct. Intuition. Her instinct or intuition told her something was wrong. Instructions. Directions. Please follow the instructions or directions carefully. Intellectual. Mental. He enjoyed intellectual or mental challenges. Intend. Mean. What do you intend or mean to do about the problem? Inventory. Stock. The store's inventory or stock was low after the holiday rush. Invoice. Bill. The invoice or bill must be paid within 30 days. Isolated. Lonely. He felt isolated or lonely in the new city. Evolve. Entail. The job will involve or entail a lot of travel. Jealous. Envious. She was jealous or envious of her friend's success. Joy. Delight. The children's joy or delight was evident on their faces. Lacking. Missing. The report was lacking or missing important details. Last. Final. This is the last or final warning. Leading. Main. She played the leading or main role in the play. Learn. Memorize. You need to learn or memorize these vocabulary words. Leave. Abandon. That house was abandoned or left years ago. Legitimate. Valid. His claim was legitimate or valid under the law. Lethal. Deadly. The snake's bite is lethal or deadly. Livid. Furious. He was livid or furious when he found out about the mistake. Loopy. Crazy. Her loopy or crazy ideas often surprised her colleagues. Lousy. Awful. The weather was lousy or awful all weekend. Love. Adore. She said she would always love or adore him. Lucid. Clear. His explanation was lucid or clear and easy to understand. Macintosh. Waterproof coat. She wore her Macintosh or waterproof coat during the rain. Madness. Insanity. The plan seemed like madness or insanity to everyone else. Magician. Conjurer. The magician or conjurer amazed the audience with his tricks. Magnify. Exaggerate. He tends to magnify or exaggerate his accomplishments. Maintain. Preserve. It's important to maintain or preserve the historical buildings. Man-made. Artificial. The lake was man-made or artificial, created by damming a river. Material. Fabric. The dress was made of a soft, flowing material or fabric. Matters. Things. We need to discuss several important matters or things. Maybe. Perhaps. Maybe or perhaps we can go to the beach this weekend. Measure. Degree. The measure or degree of his success was impressive. Meeting. Assembly. The school held a meeting or assembly for all the students. Mendacity. Lying. His constant mendacity or lying made it hard to trust him. Merciless. Cruel. The merciless or cruel dictator showed no compassion. Middleman. Intermediary. He acted as a middleman or intermediary in the negotiations. Midway. Halfway. We stopped for a rest midway or halfway through our journey. Migrate. Emigrate. Many birds migrate or emigrate south for the winter. Mild. Gentle. She had a mild or gentle temperament that everyone liked. Mimic. Imitate. The parrot could mimic or imitate human speech. Mind. Intellect. He has a sharp mind or intellect. Mindless. Senseless. The violence was mindless or senseless and shocking. Minimize. Play down. He tried to minimize or play down the importance of the error. Mirror. Reflect. The calm lake could mirror or reflect the mountains perfectly. Miserable. Depressing. The weather was so miserable and depressing that nobody wanted to leave the house. Missing. Lost. The missing keys were eventually found in a lost and found box. Mistrust. Distrust. There's a general mistrust and distrust of politicians these days. Moderately. Reasonably. The soup was moderately spicy and reasonably priced. Modern. Contemporary. The gallery features modern and contemporary art pieces. Moment. Occasion. That was a special moment, a unique occasion we will never forget. Movie. Film. We watched a movie last night that was an award-winning film. Murderer. Assassin. The murderer and the assassin were both brought to justice. Naked. Bare. The child was found naked and bare after wandering away from the camp. Nameless. Anonymous. The letter was nameless and anonymous, with no return address. Narrate. Relate. The old man would often narrate tales and relate stories from his youth. Narrative. Story. He wrote a narrative that was as gripping as a story told by a master. Native. Local. A native of the town or a local can give you the best travel tips. Near. Close. The store is very near or close to my house. Necessary. Essential. Water is necessary for survival and is an essential part of our daily lives. Nightfall. Dusk. Nightfall or dusk is the perfect time to sit on the porch and relax. Nominate. Appoint. They decided to nominate and appoint her as the new team leader. Nonstop. Continuous. The factory operates nonstop to meet demand, ensuring a continuous supply of goods. Noon. Midday. Let's meet at noon, right at midday. Noted. Famous. The noted author became famous for her captivating novels. Notify. Inform. Please notify me when you inform the team about the changes. Nugatory. Worthless. His opinion was nugatory and worthless in the grand scheme of things. Numerous. Many. There are numerous reasons why many people prefer living in the city. Object. Thing. The mysterious object turned out to be an ancient thing from the past. Obligatory. Compulsory. Wearing helmets is obligatory and compulsory for all cyclists. Oblique. Indirect. His oblique remarks were too indirect to be understood clearly. Obsolete. Out of date. The old technology quickly became obsolete and out of date. Off-season. Low season. Travel during the off-season is cheaper than during the low season. Old. Ancient. They found old or ancient artifacts in the cave. Omnipotent. All-powerful. The ruler in the story was depicted as omnipotent and all-powerful. Operate. Function. The machine will operate smoothly as long as all parts function properly. Organic. Biological. They only use organic products, ensuring everything is biological. Ornament. Decoration. The Christmas tree looked beautiful with all its ornament and decoration. Outside. External. The outside of the building needed repairs as the external walls were damaged. Overhaul. Overtake. They plan to overhaul the old car to make it overtake modern ones in performance. Overlook. Miss. If you overlook the details, you might miss important information. Overseas. Abroad. She studied overseas to gain experience abroad. Oversee. Supervise. His job was to oversee the project and supervise the team. Paper money. Notes. The wallet was full of paper money or notes, ready for spending. Particular. Specific. She was very particular about the specific way her coffee was made. Passable. Satisfactory. The road was passable but not in a satisfactory condition. Pattern. Sample. The designer showed a pattern as a sample of the new collection. Peaceable. Peaceful. The town was peaceable and peaceful, with hardly any conflicts. Perception. Insight. Her sharp perception gave her deep insight into people's motives. Pocketbook. Notebook. She kept her secrets in a small pocketbook and a larger notebook. Poisonous. Toxic. The berries were poisonous and extremely toxic to consume. Poor. Needy. The charity helps poor or needy families. Possibility. Opportunity. The internship presented a possibility for growth and an opportunity to learn. Postmortem. Autopsy. The postmortem revealed during the autopsy provided critical information. Practically. Virtually. He practically finished the project, so it was virtually complete. Praise. Compliment. The teacher's praise was a much-needed compliment to the student's efforts. Precedence. Priority. In emergencies, precedence takes priority over routine tasks. Precept. Principle. His strong moral precept was based on a clear principle of fairness. Pressing. Urgent. The situation was pressing and required urgent attention. Previous. Preceding. Her previous experience was beneficial in the preceding project. Priority. Precedence. Priority is often given precedence in critical decision-making. Prompt. Immediate. The need for a prompt response was immediate due to the crisis. Provide. Supply. We need to provide resources to supply the community adequately. Provided. If. Provided you work hard, you can succeed. If not, it will be challenging. Put back. Postpone. Let's put the meeting back to next week and postpone the discussion. Quake. Tremble. The ground began to quake and the walls started to tremble. Quick. Fast. He is a quick or fast runner. Quite. Fairly. She was quite content with the results, which were fairly good. Reasonable. Fair. His reasonable argument was considered very fair by everyone. Receive. Get. She was happy to receive the package and finally get her gift. Religious. Devout. Her religious practices showed she was deeply devout. Remainder. The rest. He ate part of the meal and saved the remainder for the rest of the day. Remark. Comment. The professor's remark was an insightful comment on the topic. Reminiscence. Memory. His reminiscence of childhood was a cherished memory. Remorse. Regret. His remorse was deep, and he couldn't shake off the regret. Remote. Isolated. The cabin was remote and completely isolated from civilization. Removable. Detachable. The device is removable and easily detachable for cleaning. Renew. Resume. After a break, they decided to renew their work and resume the project. Renounce. Give up. She decided to renounce her claim and give up the inheritance. Repute. Reputation. He is held in high repute and has an excellent reputation. Respond. Reply. When asked a question, she always responds quickly and replies thoughtfully. Rich. Wealthy. He is a rich or wealthy businessman. Rubbish. Nonsense. His argument was pure rubbish and full of nonsense. Rude. Impolite. The customer was rude and extremely impolite to the staff. Sacristy. Vestry. The sacristy and the vestry are both used for storing sacred items. Sad. Unhappy. The movie had a sad or unhappy ending. Satisfied. Convinced. He felt satisfied with the explanation and convinced of its truth. Scarcity. Shortage. The scarcity of resources led to a severe shortage of supplies. Second. Moment. She arrived in a second, just a moment after you left. Select. Choose. You can select any option you like. Please choose wisely. Selection. Choice. The selection of books was vast, giving us a lot of choice. Self-assured. Confident. He was self-assured and remarkably confident in his abilities. Signal. Sign. The signal was clear and the sign was easy to understand. Significant. Meaningful. Her contribution was significant and incredibly meaningful. Silly. Foolish. His silly antics made him seem very foolish. Sincere. Honest. Her sincere apology was appreciated for being honest. Skull. Cranium. The skull and cranium protect the brain. Small. Tiny. The kitten was so small or tiny. Smart. Intelligent. He's very smart or intelligent for his age. Soiled. Dirty. His clothes were soiled and very dirty after the hike. Spotlight. Highlight. The spotlight was on her as she took center stage, a true highlight of the event. Stable. Steady. The chair was stable and felt very steady. Steady. Regular. The beat was steady and kept a regular rhythm throughout the song. strong, powerful. He has strong or powerful muscles. Stupid, silly. His actions were stupid and rather silly. Suggest, propose. I suggest we go out for dinner and propose a new restaurant. Sundown, sunset. They watched the beautiful sundown and admired the sunset. Sunrise, dawn. The sunrise at dawn was breathtakingly beautiful. Sure, certain. He is sure and completely certain of his decision. Surroundings, environment. His surroundings and the environment were peaceful and quiet. Survive, outlive. Only the strongest will survive and outlive the others. Symbolize, represent. The dove often symbolizes peace and can represent hope. Tailored, tailor-made. The suit was tailored and completely tailor-made for him. Temper, mood. Her temper quickly changed her mood. Terror, terrorism. The world changed after the terror and impact of terrorism. Testament, testimony. His actions were a testament and strong testimony of his beliefs. Thin, slim. She looked thin or slim in her new dress. Today, nowadays. Today or nowadays, technology is rapidly advancing. Torpid, lethargic. The patient was torpid and seemed very lethargic. Touchdown, landing. The plane made a smooth touchdown and perfect landing. Touchy, sensitive. He can be very touchy and extremely sensitive about criticism. Transform, convert. They aim to transform and convert the old factory into apartments. Transitory, temporary. The happiness was transitory, only a temporary state. Transparent, obvious. The answer was transparent and incredibly obvious. Trustworthy, reliable. She is a trustworthy friend and very reliable in tough times. Twister, tornado. The twister left devastation in its wake, a true tornado in strength. Twosome, pair. The twosome walked hand in hand, a perfect pair. Ugly, unattractive. The building was considered ugly or unattractive. Ultimate, final. The ultimate goal of the project was to reach the final phase. Uncommon, unusual. The sight was uncommon and quite unusual. Uncooked, raw. The dish was served uncooked, with the vegetables still raw. Understandable, Comprehensible. His explanation was understandable and perfectly comprehensible. Unforeseen. Unexpected. The delay was unforeseen and totally unexpected. Unfortunate. Unlucky. It was an unfortunate turn of events for the unlucky team. Unhurt. Unharmed. Despite the accident, he was unhurt and completely unharmed. Unlawful. Illegal. His actions were unlawful and clearly illegal. Unmarried. Single. She has been unmarried and single her entire life. Unstated. Unspoken. The implication was unstated and remained unspoken. Untimely. Premature. His death was untimely and quite premature. Untrue. Unfaithful. Her statement was untrue and she had been unfaithful. Unusual. Strange. The occurrence was unusual and very strange. Unvoiced. Voiceless. His concerns were unvoiced and completely voiceless. Uprising. Rebellion. The uprising quickly turned into a full-scale rebellion. Usually. Generally. He usually arrives early and is generally on time. Vacancy. Emptiness. The job vacancy left a sense of emptiness in the office. Vacuum. Hoover. She used a vacuum cleaner, often called a Hoover in the UK. Vague. Indistinct. His response was vague and rather indistinct. Vain. Useless. His efforts seemed vain and utterly useless. Valueless. Worthless. The trinket was valueless and completely worthless. Vanquish. Conquer. The army managed to vanquish and conquer the enemy. Vary. Differ. Their opinions vary and often differ on many subjects. Vast. Huge. The desert was vast and seemingly huge. Visualize. Imagine. She tried to visualize and imagine her future success. Warranty. Guarantee. The product comes with a warranty and a guarantee. Weak. Feeble. The patient was too weak or feeble to walk. Well-mannered. Polite. The child was well-mannered and very polite. Well-timed. Timely. His intervention was well-timed and perfectly timely. Winery. Vineyard. The winery was known for its extensive vineyard. Withstand. Resist. They managed to withstand and resist the pressure. Young. Youthful. She has a young or youthful appearance. Zenith. Peak. At the zenith of his career, he reached his peak performance.